There he is. It's a nice trout there. Nice trout. See them on side scan, just on the side of that cut. Nice one. Morning, y'all. It's Kyle with the Inshore Edge. Welcome back for another episode. This is one I've been wanting to do. It's been on my mind for a while. Everywhere everyone fishes, there are, and they go by multiple terms, honey holes, community holes, hot spots, whatever you want to call them. But those areas where just a lot of people fish. Why? Because those areas hold a lot of fish throughout the year. And, you know, kind of like you've heard me talk, I always kind of ponder the why, or I like to explain the why of why I'm catching fish in that moment in the videos I show you, and what's going on below the surface, above the surface, that's kind of putting those fish there. And so naturally, that's a big talking point on these honey holes. You know, they're unique in that they hold a lot of fish at a lot of times, and they're easily accessible, and there's other variables that make them popular. And so today here on the Mississippi coast, I'm at a legendary spot, the Beau Rocks behind the Beau Rivage. All it is just a row of rocks that are just kind of piled out, jutting out from our island. They've got a few cuts in between them. Filters a lot of water, funnels a lot of water through them. It creates a lot of current breaks. Bait love to hang out there, mullet, pogies, and it just creates a lot of ambush spots for trout and flounder and red drum and black drum, etc. And so this morning I'm going to kind of try to find some trout on here. It's kind of a breezy, chilly Monday morning, and nobody's on the rocks. So let's see if I can find some fish and kind of talk about why they're here. And ultimately, hopefully, the why in this situation with these honey holes, the why that I want to impart and kind of show y'all, ultimately can help you get away from those honey holes when they're crowded, you don't know where else to go. The lessons you've learned, you can apply those elsewhere, because those lessons do apply elsewhere. There's other reefs, there's other areas that have funneling of water and current breaks and all that stuff that if it holds bait, it'll hold fish. So you can really learn, apply those lessons and put it together. The Beau Rocks, famous rocks. Other than windy, chilly Monday mornings, usually full of boats, because it is the proverbial honey hole. One of the things I like to do, you know, I'm trying to tell you all the whys behind what makes certain areas good and others not. Well, obviously this one's good, because everybody fishes here. It holds a lot of fish. But it's important to know why, because you can duplicate this in other areas. So you have the obvious visual stuff. You have the rocks. Rocks hold a lot of bait fish, that kind of thing. And then you got these cuts between the rocks. A lot of current goes through. Creates a funneling effect. Like I have an incoming tide right now. You can see that water ripping through those cuts. And that creates all kinds of swirls and eddies and little current breaks. A lot of bait hang out in here. There's a bunch already flipping around. And of course, it brings in your predatory fish. A lot of trout, flounder, catch reds, drum, all that in here. You'll see Spanish this time of year coming up in here chasing pogies. And you'll see a lot of fishermen. So it's not just the current coming through. That current carves out ditches, essentially. A little tap there. You can actually see it on side scan. I'll try to show it to y'all. But there's a pretty good little trench on either side. It's deeper on this side than the other side. It's more of a flat on the other side. It's also a good area. And then there's a little ridge, and then kind of a slope out into a channel off to the right. But again, just another little ambush spot where you have like a trench, a ridge, fish can hang on that drop off, ambush bait coming over. There he is. Oh, it got off. So already there's trout in there. That was definitely a trout, I think. No surprise. Bunch of bait flipping in there. I don't fish this very often. It's fun to fish. It's got a lot of challenges, little nuances to help you figure it out. It's not as easy as just coming here and chunking. You will see boats anchor up on these cuts. They have favorites, but there's little tricks and little variables here and there where you can find fish where others are not. Quite often, if I roll up in here and I want to fish this area, usually only fish this area if like the wind is so bad, it's all I got really, and I happen to be in this area. But been able to figure out how to catch fish in between boats, that kind of thing. So it's fun, it's challenging. A lot of times it'll hold some good fish. I've told y'all before, my preference is always to be on the trolling motor and fish on the move. I really, especially like that in areas like this, because you know this current creates all kinds of little pockets and eddies, and like many areas that are similar, what I found is a lot of times the angle of the retrieve, and sometimes not just with the current, across the current, up the current, makes all the difference in the world. So it's kind of hard to do that if you just anchor up. So I like to stay on the move. Like I've mentioned, I can do that really well with the foot control trolling motor. Second nature, just fish as you go. There he is. Oh, I got off. A little trout there. A finicky bite there. Missed one, and then that one came off. Had a little bit of a temperature drop, about 7 degrees, 6 to 7 degrees last night. A little cool this morning. Might have the fish a little off, or biting funny, I guess you could say. It's got me shivering a little bit. So caught one, missed two in there. I'm gonna go up above it. I'm gonna throw back down and bring that lure back against the current. Sometimes you get this much current ripping through, it just kind of sometimes seems to go by them too fast, depending on how aggressive they are. And so when you bring that against the current, it slows it down and it keeps it up in the strike zone above them longer, and get a much better look at it for a longer period of time. And believe it or not, sometimes they'll smoke it. So give that a shot. So I'm just gonna fish my way up, kind of go up above, a little bit above this cut, and then start casting back down. And slowly and you'll see when you got good current like that, like you barely reel, you just twitch it, and then just slowly reel in the slack, just kind of climbing that current back towards you. Can be super effective, especially with midstrolling, super effective. And that's just essentially what I think it is. It's just putting that lure in front of them longer, and they just can't resist it. Whereas if you're casting with the current, it just goes flying by them. And the current's so fast right now, or in this spot, it's super fast. There it is. That's a good one there. Back against the current, y'all. Just like I said, it makes all the difference. It's a nice trout. Golly. I've cast past that fish with the current multiple times. First cast back against the current, and he crushes it. Fat fish right there. "16-inch fish. Pretty. That's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. So again, right now I'm fishing, bringing it back up against the current. I've got a ditch that essentially runs from this little point straight out and kind of tapers out once it gets down about 40 yards or so. Real prominent up here, kind of drops off into almost 7-8 feet between this point and those rocks. And then I'm on the other side. So the little ridge comes out and then kind of slowly slopes down. That creates two feeding opportunities for these fish. They can feed in the ditch, or they can feed on my side of the ridge. And from here, I can hit them both angles. Now, the difference here between fishing up current, I'm bringing this back up against the current, or at most across the current, which still slows it down, and boom, just like that. Another nice trout. Y'all, so you know what I've talked about midstrolling, I've hinted to it, and it's happening right now. Midstroll against the current. It just works. These fish, for whatever reason, they're hungry, but they were not willing to go chase. When I say chase, lash out a bait that's moving too fast. You hang that bait above them, they crush it. Another nice trout. And a nice keeper fish. Slabs, you can do this all day. You can do this with swim baits too. If you're like a swim bait person, little 3-4 inch paddle tails, bring them back against the current, bring them up. Slow your reel, let it hang in front of those fish. It's against the textbook, but these fish, they don't read textbooks. What they like is food sitting in front of them, easy bait. That's exactly what this is. You got fish sitting right here. You just got to make it easy for them sometimes. And you see, I'm just shaking it, and it's up in the water column, and it's just hanging above them. And it's definitely up in the water column because the current's ripping so high. I've only got an 1/8 ounce jig, and that's fine. I really don't want it on the bottom. I want them to come up. I want them to see it, come up and ease down a little bit. There it is. That's another good one. You just kind of figure out where they are. They're right on that ridge. They've made themselves kind of pretty clear where they are. And you're just shaking it, and it kind of comes off that current right into that eddy, and boom. Big old fat male croaking. Look at that. Croaking up a storm. That's a healthy male right there. He's got some shoulders. There he is. Got it that time. So they're still there. It's still there. They just are being weird for a minute. They're acting normal again. They're hungry again. Another nice fish. They're all like 16, 17 inch fish. Another nice male. 16 inch fish, so pretty fish. I cast down a little bit. Been hitting that one little ridge and go a little bit further down and bring it more so upstream and see if there's any more fish further down on that ridge. That was kind of the idea from the start, but there he is. Sure enough, they are fish down from that ridge. That's a good one too. Pretty fish. Look at that. All right, y'all, I just mentioned in the earlier part of the video about the why of learning your community holes, your honey holes, and trying to figure out what makes those special. Well, circumstantially, not even a couple days later, my next trip out, I was able to go to a bigger honey hole in this place, Katrina Reef, here on the Mississippi coastline, so not too far of the Beau Rocks, and apply essentially a very similar pattern as what I just discovered 2 days earlier out here on the Katrina Reef Rocks. Now, I do have a fish for about a year and a half, 2 years out here on the Katrina Reef Rocks, and so pretty good idea what the trout do out here. But the beauty of it is it's just a really long reef, and you just never know. These fish move up and down the reef with the bait. And so, but in any case, we were able to catch using the mid-stroll technique, very similar to the previous day. And point being was I kind of established that pattern on those Beau Rocks. No way on a Sunday morning. That was a Monday morning. You know, I was passing by. It's one of those things that's kind of on the way out a lot. Directionally, it's on the way out, depending on which way you're going. And a Monday morning, there's nobody there. And it's like, don't mind if I do. But on a Sunday, there's just no chance. There's going to be, there's only room for a certain amount of boats. And so you got to go somewhere else. come out here to Katrina, there are a lot of boats out here on a Sunday or a Saturday, but it's big enough to where you can kind of weave in and out. You've seen how I fish on the trolling motor on the go and find fish in between where everybody's set up, and that's exactly what happened. And so there he is. That's quick. Didn't hit the water. Just got to find him. If you ever wonder if the fish are feeding, make sure you get on them first before you make a decision. Nice fish right there. Pull my bait up. There he is. That's a good one. Yeah. Just gotta find the fish, man, and they're chewing. I love the midstroll. Nice trout. Look at that fish. There he is. That's a good one. Oh, I got off. Dang it. There he is. It's a good fish. Want to keep her maybe? Nice fish there. Look at that. Right in the roof. Often where the mid-stroll bait goes. It's the beauty of side scan. Like, don't get me wrong. Well, no, side scan showed me these fish first. That's how I knew they were there before I even cast to them. And then I can see what they're doing. They're on the up and down current side of a big old bridge piling, land perpendicular. You can see that on side scan too. You kind of locate where that is, and you can hit both sides of that versus getting right on top of it and potentially getting snagged. And you're just strolling right across it. You don't have to let it get to the bottom. You're not hopping a jig. That would surely get bit also, but it's about efficiency. Midstroling's very efficient when there's a hot bite. Here's some fish right here. There's some trout right here. There it is. That's a good one. That's a good fish there. Some tight head shakes, man. I'm gonna need the net for this one. There you go. That's a nice fish. Yep. Saw that fish on side scan. Pretty trout. Let's see how much she weighs, or how her length is. What her length is, I should say. 22-inch fish. Get a weight on her. Pretty cool, mid-strolled her. Saw her on side scan. She smoked it. All right, y'all, back to wrap it all up for you. So again, like I mentioned, this was a split video, 2 different trips, but I love the way it worked out. I didn't know for sure, but was able to follow up a second day using the patterns of the things I learned from exactly what I was trying to show the first day. And so it's a little microcosm of what I hope that you guys can be able to do. Like I said, when you roll in on your honey hole and there's too many boats there, what now? You gotta go somewhere else. So learn the why of your special, your favorite areas. Learn why they're good and go find other areas to spread out your opportunities, especially if you're stuck fishing on weekends. I get it. I've angled through my work career to try to avoid weekends as much as possible, but sometimes you just gotta fish them. It's just the way it is. All right, a little recap. So I mid-stroll the whole time. You guys have heard me talk about that. I'll just, not to beat the dead horse, but essentially it's a Texas custom lure. Forktail was the bait of choice these couple days with a Gamakatsu Horizon head jig head. You see it's got a little inverted hook there. I really like that. Keeps them pinned really well. I love to use natural colors when the water's the clear sea green. Natural colors are best in my opinion. Nothing special, just using a medium action. Actually, this is a medium light SLX, Shimano SLX. good rods, not expensive. You're not going to break the bank with that. And I got a Shimano Noski, one of my favorite reels, just in a 2500 size. I like to go 20-pound braid to 15-pound fluoro. You can go lighter fluoro. I just like the 15-pound. It doesn't inhibit the action on the lure, and it's got a little bit more abrasion resistance, break resistance, you know, especially if you catch some bigger trout, you don't want to lose them. So that's it. That's typical. I've got other rods, same medium to medium light. I'll use a medium spinning rod if I'm throwing a little bit bigger mid-stroll, like your 6-inch baits. This is a 5-inch, but your 6-inch, or if you need to go to a bigger jig head to get a little bit deeper. So again, all I'm doing is as you saw in the video, casting that out. Depending on the depth, I'll let it sink, and then you just kind of shake it. And in the first part of the video, you'll see where I was bringing it back against the current, and that was key. I hope you really picked up on that and are able to utilize it when it comes to mid-strolling. And I suspect it would work pretty well with swim baits, paddle tails too, if that's your preference. Do not hesitate to think out of the box and bring that bait. If you find fish nose into the current and they're not eating as you bring that past them, reposition the boat, cast past them, and bring it back up current. That way they're facing this way, that bait comes up behind them, and then that way you can actually, if the current's fast enough, you can just hang it up. You can twitch it and hang it right above them, and I kid you not, boom. Sometimes it won't be right away, sometimes it'll be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but they see it up there, and it's just like it's too much if it stays there too long and they come up and they eat it. So that was one of the coolest things. It's something that I've been learning over the past year. There's certain applications where you always want to keep that in mind. Don't leave a spot thinking they're not eating. Bring it against the current before you leave, and a lot of times you'll get bit. All right, appreciate y'all following. Give me a follow, a like on the Inshore Edge on Facebook. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That all matters and helps me grow. I've not monetized anything. I don't have any sponsors. So right now I'm just in the growing period so if you guys kind of just taking the short amount of time to subscribe on YouTube and follow on the Inshore Edge on Facebook means a world, a difference for me just as I grow and try to get a bigger audience. And you know, that's kind of how the algorithm works. The bigger you get and the more it gets put out there into the world, the more people can maybe learn something to help their repertoire when it comes to fishing. All right, again, this has been Kyle. We appreciate you.